our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Happy day number 2 of the work week, a.k.a. Taco Tuesday, a.k.a. Condors Connection Day, a.k.a. my tongue's not going to work this early in the morning. What's going on? It's Erik Fox from Energy 95.3 on the side of the split screen here. When I saw the little thumbnail, I thought he was in a turtleneck, but no, he's got a little zip-up vest.
It's a zip-up with a jacket and with a crew neck. I'm normally a V-neck guy, but it's laundry day, and I didn't have much left.
You think you'd be in Canada right now, but no, you're in B-Town. So we'll talk
it's
about
cold today. No, it's good for.
It is clearly clear and 54 degrees outside. So
it was 35 when I left my house at 5 o'clock this morning. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. Let's go and jump into what we always do. We always talk about the parent organization first, and that is the Edmonton Oilers. We've had some conversations where it's like we had to have some doomy gloomy talkies here, but not too doomy gloomy with the last 4 all wins. What do you see?
Yeah, they're back. Yeah, they've won 6 of 7, and they're in the stretch of a week off here. They don't play until Wednesday, I think, tomorrow, and they've had since last Thursday off, so a good little break for them. I think it allows the coaching staff a little bit of time to continue to maybe instill some of the things that they're looking for, as opposed to what maybe the last coaching staff was looking for. You were kind of just thrown in the fire and playing every other night and having success. I don't think you have to tweak too much. I think the personnel in that dressing room is good enough for a lot of things. And 4 straight wins. Things are good. And, hopefully they can keep it going.
I mean, we got to be honest, though. I mean, yeah, it's awesome 7-3-0 in the last 10, but they built themselves quite the hole in which they got to dig themselves out of. What are you seeing with the moves that way? I mean, it's obviously great to have that momentum, but what are you seeing that they need to do?
Well, I mean, McDavid, this time last week was, I think, 130th in the league scoring, and now he's like 8th, over a span of a week, and much like the standings, and eventually it'll start, if they continue that 7-3-0 pace, which they can easily do over the course of a season, you're not going to, once I was never good at math, but once the denominators start getting a little larger, obviously it's tougher to make up ground. Early in the year, it's much easier.
Right.
10 points isn't as bad in November as it is in March, when you're trying to make up that ground. So, still, a ton of, I mean, we're barely into December here. They haven't even played a game in December. I think they've, kind of righted a little bit of that bad November at the end of the tail end of it. And we'll see where it takes them moving forward.
Let's talk about what's working. Obviously, we talked about McDavid now making the goals, but we did a coaching change this year. What else are you seeing that's maybe clicking that maybe it wasn't at the start? Yeah,
I think for Edmonton, I think this is the team that everyone kind of envisioned, anyways. And it was a bad start, and when you have a bad start, somebody typically takes the fall, and I think it was the coaching staff, and right or wrong, whatever. I think this team was going to get to where it was getting to, with me or you behind the bench or whatever it is. But
it's a very good, trust me.
It's a very good, high-powered team, and
right.
Eventually their goaltending was going to get incrementally better. Their offense was going to get much better, and that's what you're seeing. They're playing to their averages right now, and their average is above average to excellent to cup contender. So, yes, it's a big hole to dig out of, and yep, they're probably not winning the division, and they're probably not getting home ice in the opening round, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Let's go and talk about the local teams, or local team, I should say. We have one. Obviously, it was a rough planned last weekend where Texas coming to town, which they're just pew pew on fire. That's my Texas impression. You're welcome, everyone.
That was pretty good.
A split, though, is what we looked at, in which we dropped one but picked up one. What were you seeing with that team?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can even go back to last Wednesday in Vegas. You get a win in Henderson in the shootout. You come home Friday, and you led. The team led with a minute and a half left. It was kind of a weird scenario with the team leading with a minute and a half left, but it was still a lead. The game goes to a shootout, so you get a point there. So the shootout gets you on Wednesday and, gives it right back on Friday. But, that's still 3 out of 4 points against a very good Texas team. So,
Right.
that's a solid weekend. I think that's a momentum building week. We saw Drake Kajula have 7 points. He led the league in scoring last week in 3 games. That's a positive sign. I kind of always have mentioned Drake Kajula, Lane Peterson, kind of as guys that needed to get going for this team to be really successful. I mean, it would be a successful team, but to, kind of be in an upper echelon, that top 3 of the Pacific, I need to be saying Drake Kajula and Lane Peterson's name often. I think team. And yes, you're going to have guys that, are going to fill the net like Raphael Lavoie. For me, it's Kajula and Peterson. When they're going, we're as deep as anybody, in the American Hockey League. And that's what you saw, over the weekend. But it wasn't the offensive side. I mean, that came to life, but it was the defensive side, which I wanted to see be very good against Texas. And I think, there were some goals outliers in there over the course of the weekend. But I think over the course of the weekend to limit Texas to, it was 6 goals, I think, in regulation over the course of 2 games when a team had been averaging 4 goals a night. I think that's pretty good. And I think there's probably 3 or 4 goals in there that the team probably wants back. That Saturday game wasn't as close as the score line would indicate. The Condors really controlled that from, after falling behind 1-0, they controlled that from there on. So, good weekend, hopefully a momentum building weekend that, we can use going into a jam-packed December.
Let's go and talk about what's coming up. And, Texas top of the Central. So it's got to have some good feeling in the locker room as to prepare for a ping pong weekend coming up here, in which against a team in which during COVID, it seems like we saw them every other week, but we haven't seen them very much this year, and that's the Reign. What are you seeing with that?
Yeah, Ontario's off to a good start. They have veteran net minding that's been good. And they have a strong kind of, again, they're kind of like the Condors and like Henderson. Their NHL teams have bigger aspirations than winning the Calder Cup. And as a result, their AHL teams are very tweener heavy, guys who, they think that can play at both levels. I mentioned Pajula, Peterson and Kajula for us. They have, they're guys who are kind of in that same mold. Jared Anderson-Dolan, Akil Thomas, guys who have been there for 3-4 years. And then, of course, TJ Tynan, seems like he averages, 4 points a game. So that's a strong team. They've played well. And again, there's kind of a big swath right now, and it will all kind of jiggle out here once the Condors start playing some games, because Bakersfield's going to end up in that kind of mix too. I think Henderson falls down a little bit. Ontario's kind of in that tweener land. Tucson's been the biggest surprise for me. When we saw them for 2 games, they're top 4 right now, but I think that's all going to start evening out here. Again, the Condors just have to start playing games and they'll be right up there. But, Calgary just lost their number 1 netminder for a bit of time here. So, outside of San Jose, San Diego, I had Ontario's at number 3 team kind of falling out, maybe Tucson, but it's kind of anyone's guess right now. Colorado's been the most disappointing team, and I think Tucson's probably been the biggest surprise, but Ontario's right there in the surprise category too.
I know it's only early December here, but just looking at the rankings right now, like the number of games played, I mean, the Condors played 15. You got the top teams 20, 19, 20, 20. I mean,
we have 4 games in hand on the entire league. So
what do you see with that as momentum's built here?
Well, it means, we had to take care of our business in, a short amount of time, right? We're only playing 1 game a week. And if you lose that one, you kind of sit on it for 10 days and then 2 teams play 4 games and they gain 8 points on you. Like, you can't really compete with that. So you can't really look at the standings. But for Bakersfield right now, you've gone through and you're going to go through the gauntlet of the Pacific. Like everybody else has played San Jose, San Diego. We don't play San Diego until January. And we played them 4 times this year. San Jose, we don't see till after Christmas. We're going to play them 8 times, but that's 12 games against, 2 bottom feeding teams that are going to be in 9 and 10 the entire year. So other teams have had that opportunity already. So if you look at it and you say, okay, well, this team's already had 4 games against San Jose, they're 4-0. I mean, these are free. Nothing's free in this division, but those are as free of points as you're going to get. So, we've been battling the tops of the tops here for, it seems. And then when we step out of the division, who do we get? We get the top of the division. San Diego's in Chicago for a week, and they're playing Milwaukee. They're getting the bottom feeders. So it's just the way it works out, and so, but strength of schedule wise, I mean, this Condors schedule has been a gauntlet, even though it hasn't been game played wise, but now it's going to be a gauntlet of games played, and you have to be ready to go every night.
Let's go talk about the 3 games ahead, because programming note, we don't know when we'll do our next one, since next Tuesday, right around this time, you guys will be preparing for a puck drop for your field trip day, right?
Field trip day, yeah, it's sold out. It's one of, Teddy Bear Toss is my favorite goal of the year. I always say field trip day is kind of one of my favorite games of the year. One, because we get out and it's still sunlight out, which is fantastic. That's a great work day. And 2, it's great to see.
You go have lunch after the game instead of dinner.
It's awesome. It's awesome. We cater in breakfast in the morning. Like, it's the best. So Tuesday's game is special. I mean, kids in Kern County, not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to come to Condors games all the time, and to do so. And I remember that as a kid, going to a couple of, at the time, Providence Bruins games, or, Worcester Ice Cats games at that time. You go and you see, hockey during the day, and that's pretty cool. Or you're in a summer camp and you go see, a baseball game as part of your summer camp. Like, those are memories that kids will have for a lifetime. So, we're happy to put it on every year. It's, always sold out, but it's for sure sold out. It's oversold this year. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be fun, and looking forward to it.
Lots of kids getting really loud, and anyone who's been around kids know they can be louder than adults ever could learn to be. So
this is true.
Let's talk about this weekend. First of all, we got our first game on Friday is an away game in Ontario. People want to check that out, what they need to do.
Yeah, HLTV will be down at Toyota Arena, take on the Reign.
And then Saturday and Tuesday, we got our home games, Saturday, 7 p.m., and then that field trip game on Tuesday. You said it's already sold out for Tuesday, but if people want to check out the Saturday game.
Yeah, Saturday's our youth jersey giveaway. So Condors.com. We've got tickets as low as $15. And then there are some adult tickets available for Tuesday. We do have one section kind of away from the kids, as much away from the kids as possible. You can enjoy the club room as well too, and it's a special rate. It's $30. Those tickets are usually $40, but they're $30 for the game on Tuesday. And you can sit right center ice and enjoy the club room, and maybe hide out in the club room so you don't have to hear all the kids. But so we do have some tickets available for Tuesday's game, and look forward to seeing everybody.
All that at BakersfieldCondors.com. Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Back on the air every afternoon with you. Glad to be back with you once again. And, of course, every single week we get you caught up on all things CondorsTown right here. As, my brother from another mother and myself get you all right here with your Energy Condors connection. We'll catch you next week.